Hello, welcome, Marlon here. Today I'd like to show you guys how I made these little Christmas tree cupcakes. When I did my research, the options seemed to be either a mound of green icing on top of my cupcake, which did not seem appealing to me, and the other option seemed to be, time and time again, an ice cream cone on top of the cupcake coated in icing. That also didn't seem like much of a culinary experience, and so I went into my stash of gear, equipment that I have for baking, and I came across this cake pan. This is by Wilton. It makes these little cones. So I poured the same batter that I used to make my cupcakes, and I made these little cones. And this is what we're going to use to decorate the cupcake. The whole thing will be cake and will be delicious. Let's look at our supplies here. I have white buttercream with a round tip, and I have green buttercream with a star tip. Use whatever you have as far as the numbers go. I have some Wilton stars. I have an assortment of sprinkles here, green, white, and green, and some white sanding sugar in there as well. Then I have the gingerbread boy sprinkles by Wilton. We'll be using these to decorate our little trees. I've got my cupcake here and some white icing, and I'm just adding some snow to the scene here, taking one of my little cones and I'm adding icing to there, and then I'm going to smush that into that base, and that's going to hold that up. You can see there's my tree base. Here they are. The bases are all covered in white icing. We have our little trees, and now we're ready to decorate. There are a few ways you could go about decorating your trees. If you wanted, now you could just kind of go all the way around the tree with the piping tip like you would swirl on a cupcake, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm just with it says Wilton 22 on it, and I'm just pulling up, making like a tear shape all the way around my cone, like so. Just keep rotating. And there we have our first level of the tree. For the next step, I've got my first layer of tree here, and I'm adding 3 little gingerbread men to the trees here. And in between each, I'm adding like 2 of these button type things. They also had some really great candy canes that would work so perfectly on these, but I didn't pick them up. You have to control yourself sometimes. Then you don't get it and you're like, oh, I should have got it. It's very annoying, but okay, so there we go. There's our first layer of ornaments. Same as before, we're going to work through all the trees. Now we're doing the second layer, repeating exactly the same process, a tear shape towards the top. And you can see now why I added those ornaments before, because sometimes the icing kind of gets on them and it makes them actually look more like an actual tree. They're tucked in there. And now we'll be able to add the second layer of ornaments. If your family enjoys to do family baking nights, this is perfect activity. You do the icing, it's a little bit trickier, and the kids add the ornaments, and everybody's going to be able to get involved in the creativity, have a great time, make some nice memories. Don't worry if the kids, you know, get their fingers in there and mess them up sometimes a little bit. They're having so much fun, and they'll remember it forever that they baked with mommy or daddy. Okay, so there's our decorated cupcake, and now for the top, all I'm doing is a dollop of icing. I'm just positioning at the top and squeezing, and then it hangs off, and then I'm pulling up. That's it. And now I've got these stars that I got, same as the other, just a different shape, and I'm popping on a little star on the top of the cupcake. And there we have our little Christmas tree. If you feel your cupcakes are missing a little something, you can just sprinkle them with a little bit of extra decorations. Here I have, oh, this stuff gets everywhere. If you have a dog, they'll enjoy this. And I'm just lightly adding a few extra decorations to the tree. I find it just gives it that little bit, makes it more festive looking. Now that I've shown you how to make them exactly, just going to show you, I'm running through these for my son's class, and I don't want to, you know, spend an eternity on this. And so I'm going to try to decorate them on the tray, working on the sides that I can, and I'll rotate after. Finish this section. Now I'm just, after I've done all the first row and added my little candies, I can kind of run through and do the second row of Christmas tree. My green is a little bit lighter. I had to make more icing, but it looks fine. It's an ombre tree. Now you can see here these have a couple of holes, and that's so easy to fix. You just, here I'm adding a gingerbread man, and that'll hide my little openings. You see, you can just add little candies, and that quickly hides any icing openings. Now, depends what you're making these for. If you're making, you know, just a few for your party, you can be much more meticulous. If you're making these for a class treat or something like that, your audience is much more forgiving with regards to imperfections. The stuff will be gone in 2 seconds. They're not going to notice some cake showing through or something like that. They don't care. I hope you enjoyed today's holiday project. If you haven't yet decided what you want to make for the holidays, here are some more ideas. You'll find the links in the description box should you not have a touchscreen. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.